जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपीचन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपीचन जय गोपीचन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपीचन जय गोपीचन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपीचन वल्लभा यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन। यशोदानंदन यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन। यशोदानंदन यमुनतीरावनचारी। यमुनतीरावनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram. Kishore Kishore Jaya Kishore 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 Jaya Kishore Kishore Jaya Kishore Kishore Jaya Jagannatha Jagannatha Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Jaya Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. गौर प्रेमानंदे हरे हरि बोल श्री नाम संकीर्तन की जय श्री गोपाल की जय. Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 57, 36 verse, 36 and okay. What we'll do is we'll read word to and meaning and then we'll read the sloka. Kindly repeat. Deve, when the demigods, Lord Indra, our Sati, had not been supplying rain, Kashi Isha, the king of the Banaras, Swapalkaya, to Swapalka, Akrura's father, Agataya, who had come, Vai, certainly, Swa, his own, Sutam, daughter, Gandhinim, Gandhini, Pradat, gave, Tata, then, Avarsat, it rained, Sama, indeed, Kashishu, in the kingdom of Kashi. Deve Varsati Kasisa, Deve Varsati Kasisa, Deve Varsati Kasisa, Shvakalpakaya Gataye Vai, Shvakalpataya Shvafakal Shvafak Shvafalkagaya Gataye Vai, Shvafalkagaya Taye Vai, Shvafalkaya Gayaye Vai, Swasutam Gandhini Pradat, Swasutam Gandhini Pradat, Tato Varshata Sma Kashishu, Tato Varshata Sma Kashishu, Deve Varshati Kashisha, स्वफकल्कय गताय वै स्वसुतां गति गान्धिनां प्रदात् ततो वर्षत स्म काशीषु देवे वर्षति काशीशा स्वफकल्कागाय गताय वै स्वसुतां गान्धिनीं प्रदात् ततो वर्षात् स्म काशीषु देवे वर्षति काशीशा स्वल्पकाय गताय वै स्वसुतं गान्धिनीं प्रदात् तदर्शत स्म काशीषु देवे वर्षति काशीशा स्वफकल्कगाय गताय वै स्वसुतां गान्धिनीं प्रादात् ततो वर्षत् स्म काशीषु देवे वर्षति काशीशा स्वफकल्काय गताय वै स्वसुतां गान्धिनीं प्रदात् ततो वर्षत् स्म काशीषु देवे वर्षति काशीशा स्वफल्कगाय गताय वै स्वसुतं गान्धिनीं प्रादात् ततो वर्षत् स्म काशीषु देवे वर्षति काशीशा स्वफल्कगाय गताय वै स्वसुतं गान्धिनीं प्रदात् ततो वर्षत् स्म काशीषु Translation by S.B.10.5. The elders said, previously when the Lord Indra had withheld rain from Kashi, Banaras, the king of the city gave his daughter Gandhini to Sapakalka, who was then visiting him. It soon reigned the kingdom of Kasi. Purport. Sophalka was Akrura's father, and the citizen felt that the son must have the same power as the father. Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti points out that because of Akrura's relationship with his maternal grandfather, the king of the Kashi, in the time of difficulty, Akrura went to that city. We'll read next verse also. तत्सुता तत्प्रभवो स अक्रूरो यत्र हा देवे विवर्षते तत्र नोपानमारिका. Wherever his equally powerful son Akrura stays, Lord Indra will provide sufficient rain. Indeed, that place will be free of the miseries and ultimately death. इति वृद्धवच इति वृद्धवाच श्रुत्वा नेतेवादीह कारणम् इति मत्वा समन्वाय प्रहाकुरं जनार्दनाः. Hearing these words from the elders, Lord Janardana, though aware of that absence of Akrura was not the only cause of his evil omens, had him summoned back to Dwarka and spoke to him. Purport. Since Lord Krishna is the supreme controller, it was obvious by his will that certain troubles appeared in the city of Dwarka. Superficially, these evils may have been caused by Akrura's absence and also by the absence of auspicious Samantaka jewel. But we should recall that Dwarka is the eternal abode of Lord Krishna. It is a city of divine bliss because of Lord resides there. Still, to execute his pastimes as the prince of this world, Lord Krishna did the needful and summoned Akrura. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरू श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवां च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितां च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्रीराधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. You all are welcome to our Saturday Bhagavatam discussion. I seek blessing of all the Vaishnavas who are highly qualified more than me to speak, but they have given me the opportunity to speak on behalf of them. So, with that, their blessing, I'll begin. So, in this sloka, we can see last week we discussed few points about Shamantaka jewel. So, the emphasis of the last week points was majorly how the advice given by the Lord Sri Krishna to Satyajit was rejected, and that's how all the bad thing happened to him. And whole emphasis we saw how the great personality advice if we reject in our life, it may with the Lord or his devotees, how it impacts. We discussed multiple examples in the last session. Today, for this Samantaka jewel discussion, we see that now we have almost completed the most of the part of the Samantaka jewel story. Is it audio clear or it's uh, so? In the Shamantaka jewel story, we saw now Satyajit was killed by Satadanva. Satadanva then was killed by Lord Krishna. But Lord Krishna didn't find jewel with this Satadanva. So that time Balramji reminds Krishna that Krishna knows, but still in Krishna acts like he doesn't know. So Balramji tells that maybe somebody this Satyadharma have kept this Samantaka jewel, so let's find out. Then they found out and they got to know that Akrura is the one who has the jewel. But by hearing the news of Satyadharma killed, Akrura and Krutadharma, they left the city of Dwarka. So as they leave the city of Dwarka, in the Dwarka there are a lot of bad omens happen. So everyone thinks that because Akrura left the city, that's how there are bad omens happening in the city of Dwarka. But Dwarka is the eternal abode of the Lord. How can there be bad omens? But it is a part of pastime. So just it's happening. So in order to just uh, get rid of all this thing, and in order to satisfy the people around us, Lord sometimes does something which is seemingly looks like very ordinary, but sometimes we have to act in such a way in order to maintain the society together. For the sake of people we do certain things. Same way Lord also, we can see here, because people are thinking, elderly people are thinking specifically that Akrura left the city, that is how the bad omens are happening in this city. So let's Akrura get back so that all things will become auspicious. So in this past time we can see that Lord is also ready to cooperate certain times in order to maintain the sanctity and unity of this people. So in this pastime, Lord called up Akrura. Even the Lord is qualified to remove all the bad omens, and he's capable of solving all the problems without taking Akrura into consideration, without considering anything. He's himself capable of doing everything. But still, just to be one among the uh, citizens of his uh, town, he just calls Akrura and he informs him, come back, and he calls him back, and that's how the omens goes away. So this is one thing we can see, that the Lord cooperates with other people. So same way we also in our life, certain times we think we are a devotee, we can do anything, but no, we also have to cooperate with the laws and rules of the city. Devotee is beyond everything, but still they have to cooperate with certain place they go. They have to follow the certain rules. So and this is what Lord shows in this example. So when we do that, then we don't look something different, and we connect with the people. And while doing Krishna conscious preaching also, sometimes some devotees are too fanatic. They just directly go and say what you do and nonsense and all. They hurt the people's feeling and they preach Krishna consciousness. But it should not be like that. When we are preaching Krishna consciousness, we have to first build a relationship with them, understand their mood, with lovingly, with serving them, we have to touch their heart. And then when we feel we are one among them, then the message will go. Any current to pass, there should be some connect. Any message to pass, there should be some relation. Any message to be trusted, there should be some relation. So in order to maintain the relation, we can see the Lord is ready to take lower position and just hear the elders people and call Akrura. Same way when preaching Krishna consciousness also, we have to go to the level of the people. Sometimes it may be seeming externally that, oh, he's a devotee, but how can he go there? But devotee goes out of compassion to preach Krishna consciousness, to pull the people from their level, to connect to the Lord. And then gradually, as the person grows up, slowly the standards are raised for the person for practicing Krishna consciousness. But externally, if someone looks, oh, this person is not following that rule, but those people who have that mentality, they never get compassion in their heart, because the heart which is compassionate can only preach Krishna consciousness. So we have, when we see this Lord's pastime, if Lord is ready to take, who are we? Lord's great devotees, they also do this thing, and that's how they are able to preach Krishna all over the world. So in this pastime, Lord is teaching us that we should align with people and pull them from their level to the perfection, and gradually they take to Krishna consciousness, and Lord become very much pleased. Like just like any animal, anybody knows how the animals are tamed. They are slowly taken, or even the kids training, right? They are also slowly taken with the finger, and then they are made walk independently. Like that, preacher also have that tendency, that knack, that special tact. He goes to the level of the people, uplifts them, and then preach Krishna consciousness. So this is what I could think of this particular pastime in this shloka. And then one more thought I was contemplating about this entire Shamantaka pastime, and there are multiple points came out. So the first point which I was discussing with His Grace Paramatma Prabhu night yesterday, and we churned this Shamantaka story. It was wonderful. So many points came out. So first point Prabhuji suggested is like it's Lord being judged, Lord being alleged. Lord was given allegation that Lord killed this Satyajit, uh, but it was not the for Samantha Gazelle. Lord was given allegation for this one, but Lord didn't had any grudge in his heart. Lord was very kind, and Lord uh, proved that he is not the one who has stolen the Samantha Gazelle. So similarly, devotee of the Lord also sometimes they will be put into allegation. They will be put into some situation where they will be questioned, but devotee will come out very clean, and they and after coming out clean also, they don't have any grudge about the person who has put this allegation on them. So if you want to maintain the sanctity among the devotee circle, one should be free from grudge. Even this, one should be extremely forgiving. Unless we are forgiving, there is no way the society will be very smooth. Otherwise there will be always friction, there will be always problem. And in this world, um, this situation of all the faults is always there. Like Bhagavatam says, Kalo Drishe Nidhi Rajan. This Kali Yuga is full of faults. So if you want to find fault, it is very easy. But it's very difficult to find good quality in somebody. But preacher of Krishna consciousness, he sees good in others, he finds the good qualities. Just like Prabhupada, when initially came to America, Prabhupada, wherever he looked, he felt great compassion in his heart, and he saw some good people, and he encouraged them. And gradually, Prabhupada first initiated people, and then he told the four regular proposal. How he told, he had a special technique. He didn't say them verbally. He just wrote down on paper, and on the bathroom door he kept it. So people, when they are going to bathroom, oh, we are initiated, done. We have to follow this four regular. So like that, slowly, slowly, Prabhupada uplifted. So uh, the compassion of the preacher is very, very important, and that compassion will come when one is not having any jealous, one is not having any envy with others. Unless one is non-envious, one cannot preach Krishna consciousness. There is no way. So uh, the best medicine also for anybody who is feeling envious in his heart is to preach Krishna consciousness, because when Krishna comes in heart, and when we speak Krishna consciousness, automatically the envy goes away from the heart. So this is a wonderful point which Prabhuji suggested, and I felt very nicely connecting to this past time that um, Lord was very generous, very open. He didn't had any envy. After proving this thing, he was very clean, and he compulsorily called Akrura back to his kingdom. And then another point which I was thinking, that the root cause of any problem is possessions. Like in this past time, Satyajit didn't agree to give up the Shamantaka jewel to the king. He kept with himself. So anything we possess, it creates problem. And if we are not specifically qualified to hold that thing, even it is more dangerous. Why it is dangerous? The question will come to one's mind. It is dangerous because anything if we possess, automatically the other people envy, because the person has only that thing and others don't have. So automatically other get envied, and as other get envied, he is into more anxiety. He is more energy is curb in maintaining that thing, protecting that thing. So we can see in this pastime, anything you possess, it creates problem in your life, specifically if it is not a very common thing. So we can see in the pastime of Mahabharata, Ramayana also, when Mother Sita, she demanded that I want this golden deer, and when Lord went to get that deer, she got separated from the Lord. Like that way, the things of this world, when we have more attraction toward these things, we get separate from the Lord. It's natural. Anything higher than Lord, if we like it in the world, definitely we'll get separate from the Lord. And that is a test. Lord will put us time to time, we'll be tested with each and every allurement of the world. And that's how Mayadevi does. Her job is perfect. Always gives us allurement with different areas. And as we are tested, and when Lord will see that this particular person, though he's getting behind this thing, but still he's using this thing in my service, then that is perfection. But if there is a tinge of also selfish agenda of aspiration to enjoy that thing, then we become separate from the Lord, and automatically the mercy and the connection with the Lord get disconnected. We can see the Lord consort can get separated. What to say of us? We are very small, tiny. So that's how, if we want to possess something and we have more attraction to that more than the Lord, definitely will be separate from the Lord. So this is one thing. Second thing, second pastime we see, similar thing happened to Duryodhana. Lord personally went to Duryodhana that Pandavas give just 5 villages. They are ready. They are kings. They are Kshatriyas. They cannot just beg and live their livelihood. They need to rule, and that's how. But the adamant Duryodhana, he said, "I will not give the land even on the tip of the needle. That much land also will not give to the Pandavas." So much adamant, and actually the land, the kingdom was Pandavas only, but still he refused. And as he possessed this thing, we know whole entire Mahabharata what happened. So like that way, possessing thing is very dangerous if we specifically don't have qualification to hold that thing. We see similar incident with Ravana. He didn't give Mother Sita, return back to Lord Ram. And what happened? We know our entire Rakshasa dynasty got just finished. So specifically, if we possess something and if we are not qualified to hold it, it create chaos, havoc in our problem life. So one has to really see in our life how minimal we can live in our life. because if we have too much possession also, then it brings lot of mental anxiety to maintain it, protect it. I know one of my friend, he has 4 cars in his house. His house is 6 bedroom house. He has to do so much maintenance of this car. He has to work weekend to clean entire house. He cannot. He sometimes has to pay extra also to a hire servant to clean up, and in order to get that, he has to work extra to give money to them. So anytime we have more than what we need, right, it brings a lot of anxiety to us. So one should be simple. We see our Goswamis, their lifestyle. Somebody may think Guru Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, they were such a highly elevated place for like Prime Minister and Finance Minister. At this level, they come to the lower level, just living on a simple life, sleeping on another tree on the day so that they don't get attached to particular tree. So simple lifestyle. Why? Are they mad or they don't have any sense of living life? They also have sense, but they understood that this thing will bind us. The material possessions binds the person, and as the material possessions binds us, instead of focusing on the Lord's and Lord's service, one get focused into other things, in their maintenance, in their possession, protection. Other people envy. Lot of problem happens. Uh, we see a society, always there is jealousy. You don't try to harm you. We have to make sure we protect all the possession, and in that lot of mental energy go. We have always anxiety, like bills, again periodically maintaining this all the instruments whatever we possess, all the gadgets we possess. So that's how one should keep one's life as much as simple as possible. And when one has simple life, one preserves one's vital human energy, and that same energy can be devoted for practicing Krishna consciousness, for serving the Lord, serving the Lord's devotees. So now someone may question that if we say everybody stays simple, how the services will go on, how the preaching process will go on. So this very simple logic to this is, when it comes to our personal level, we should be very simple and we should be minimal and live as much as basic we can live. But when it comes to Lord and Lord devotee service, we should be very opulent. So that's a clear difference between the simplicity. So simplicity should be for oneself, but when it comes to Lord's devotee, we should be staying very opulent. In this context, one more example comes to my mind is Chanakya Pandit. Chanakya, he given the kingdom to Chandragupta, but when his job is finished, he goes to the forest and there he lives simply, because he knows this opulence is not for me and it will distract me. So anybody we can see who here is want to grow spiritually, make his goal of life clear, their life is very simple. They are not complicated it. So simplicity is very very important if one want to uh, progress spiritually and save one's time energy. We can see one time Rup Goswami was challenged by one of the scholars. Uh, but that time, Rup Goswami could easily defeat that person in the argument. But what he did, he just wrote uh, that I accept your defeat, and he just continues his service to the Lord. Same way in our life also, sometimes certain situation will come where the arguments, discussion, or things will pull us a lot, and which will take us a lot of vital energy. So we should be smart enough as a devotee that we don't have to get into the worldly nitty-gritty of those problems. We just have to make ourselves more clean and get aloof from all these worldly things. Like it is said, devotee have to stay like be in this world but not of this world. Means what? We have to be here, but our consciousness should be hooked to the spiritual world. When our consciousness is hooked to spiritual world, these all the external things won't hurt us, won't distract us, because we know this thing is just like the, like somebody is having higher bliss or higher enjoyment in his life, right? The lower enjoyment doesn't pull his attention. So this egoistic happiness or satisfaction if one has, and if one is getting that, that means one is has to work internally. As devotee grows in spiritual life, he works more and more internally. And if one has to grow internally, then one has to focus more and more, one has to get more and more his consciousness evolved towards perfection. His consciousness should be hooked to spiritual world, and to the degree our consciousness is hooked to spiritual world, that degree these worldly things will not distract us. Otherwise small small thing person gets so much disturbed. So That's how one has to be simple. In order to be hooking one's consciousness to higher level, one has to live definitely simple. Because what happens, if we are too much into this worldly things, right, the connection get cut. So like one time I'll tell you, in my apartment, one of the person, he was holding very expensive car, and uh, he parked his car in the night and he slept. And next day morning, somebody hit his car and he left. Hit and he just person somebody, and the car had a little bent. And this person, he was so much attached to the car. It is more than somebody pinching him or breaking his bone also. It was so much. That person was just walking and putting pumping his leg on the earth, and he don't know what to do. And like more than a drunken person, that person was so much attached to the car, and he just shouting, yelling like that he was doing. And what is the use? There is nobody to. And I, on the top of building, I'm like, from my window I was watching him, and I was just thinking, uh, see, this person is identifying himself with the car, and he's he knows now nothing can change. But what happens when one gets angry, right? The intelligence just switch off. It's just like anytime power is too much, right, the switch get tripped. Like that, the intelligence is get tripped, and that person is not able to think anything else. Similarly, if we are too much hooked to the material thing, then we cannot just think of spiritual thing, because these things are meant to distract us. These things are meant to hold us, hold our attention, time, energy, anxiety. We get it. So that's how one has to be stay very simple. And as one is simple, one will be very happy. So how the simplicity will be happening? Simplicity starts from external to internal. So external simplicity goes with the way we dress, the way we live our uh, hairstyle, the way we talk. One should not be also careful. One should not harm in one's talk also to others. That should be simple, polite, gentle. One's talk should be like that. So this is about external. The simplicity start with food immediately. The food what we consume, that also, if we try to consume simply, automatically that impression get created in us, and that's how the consciousness build. And automatically the internal simplicity also develops. Internal simplicity is that one doesn't expect anything from anyone, and one become very clean. Is like Prabhupada writes, the definition of simplicity is one should be non-duplicitous. The exact definition Prabhupada gives about simplicity is, simplicity means that without duplicity, one should be so straightforward that he can disclose the real truth even to the enemy. That kind of simplicity is there. That's what Bhagavad Gita Prabhupada gives the definition. As for acceptance of the spiritual master, that it is essential, because without the instruction of the bona fide spiritual master, one cannot progress in the spiritual science. One should approach a spiritual master with all humility and offer him all services, so that he will be pleased to bestow away his blessing upon the disciple. So, someone may question that, like, we approach the spiritual master, but if one is not simple, whether one should approach or no? No, definitely one should approach, because when we approach and during the process we'll get purified. It is the austerity. Simplicity is also one of the austerity. Like, not everyone can practice the simplicity. In Kali Yuga, the austerity is not too much physical. The austerity is too at physical and mental level. Austerity, staying with devotees also austerity. Not we can get along with everyone. Prabhupada is to say, if you just stay together, that's fine. That's perfect. Because there will be always someone who will be testing us, who will be increasing our tolerance, who will be making us more humble. So, like that way, in devotee circle, we get purified. So, one has to continue one's practice, and that will put oneself into simplicity. So, one has to try that one can be simple. So, in the simplicity, there is one example comes in Bhagavatam, that we know the Brahmana's wives. When Brahmanas were performing sacrifice and Krishna and Balram goes there, out of fear from Kamsa, they refuse to give this food stuff to uh, Krishna Balram. But when this Krishna Balram, they goes to their Brahmana's wife, they were so simple and they get so much attracted to Krishna. that they offer everything. And then Krishna become very much pleased, and that time they don't think of what Kamsa will think or who will think. They immediately, because they are simple, and they, that's how Krishna become very much pleased with them. So simplicity is what Krishna get attracted. We can see all the Krishna's covered friends and the gopis, everybody is so simple. So if one has to attract Krishna, one has to be simple in one's life. So the system of Vedic time is made in such a way that everyone lives in particular varna and ashram. As per that, one lives simply, one is connected, and that way the uh, entire social culture was very nicely built. We can see only in Lord Chaitanya's case. Lord Chaitanya's favorite devotee, Kolabecha Sridhar, was such a simple person, such a simple house, such a simple lifestyle. But Lord, he was very dear to Lord. And when doing during the Mahaprakash Leela, Lord asked him, "Do you want something?" He said, "No. The way you are living with me, the way you are reciprocating with me, Lord, oh please, Lord, please continue that." So simplicity is what which attracts the Lord. Even Prabhupada time also, so many devotees just they got attracted with Prabhupada's simplicity. Prabhupada's the way Prabhupada speak, the way Prabhupada corrects them. Sometime one time one of the outside fishermen, he saw Prabhupada, and anytime anybody sees scent, right, they have the automatically the mood of service comes to their mind or offering something to their mind. So this fisherman came and he said, "Please take this fish," and Prabhupada say, uh, "You enjoy." That's it. And all the disciples were thinking, "What Prabhupada said? You enjoy? And, how can someone enjoy fish like Sadhu is telling?" And then later, some of the disciples were restless, and then they were asking Prabhupada, "Prabhupada, why did you say that uh, you enjoy? You didn't accepted the fish and you said him to enjoy." Prabhupada said, "You just heard that, you enjoy. But in later I said, then supper." That's what I said in the later part of the world. So, sadhu means they are so simple, they make gesture in such a way that pleases others, inspire others, and at the same time they don't dilute their principles. Like in devotee circle also, one time one of the very senior devotee I saw in one of the marriage, he was serving tea. I was thinking, he's such a senior devotee. How can he serve the tea? He don't take himself, but he serve the tea in the other's marriage. And I'm thinking, how can it? Then later I understood, it's not just like externals. It is being a part of society. Sometimes we have to adjust, make adjustments, uh, but without breaking over any of the principle. So later I clarified with some of the superiors, and then they clarified, no, that was a herbal tea, and it was like just occasion. So to be part of community, we have to do like this kind of thing. So that's what I was told. So we cannot judge externally anyone. So the simplicity is very very important for oneself if one wants to continue Krishna conscious practice for a lifelong, and that will keep all the anxiety, that will keep us very like minimal with all the demands of our body soul, and we can spend more and more time for Krishna consciousness. So with that note, I will stop here. We have so many advanced Vaishnavas here. They can definitely contribute some points if they feel.
Hare Krishna, bro. Thank you for your
Hare Krishna.
nice, simple living, high thinking. So it says like during Lord Krishna was present, so generally there were people at that time also. They found fault like Krishna is there, but they didn't accept it. That they told Akrura is gone out of the city. So one question is that bad omens, like we we are in US now. The mode of passion, mode of ignorance, very prominent like that. We see these symptoms very. So how to overcome this? You mentioned in the class like simple living, high thinking. And what are the bad omens like in Kali Yuga, like especially on the material platform? And second was like Titishwa, means one has to be tolerant, because
Yes.
when preaching you have to face all sort of class of people, envious people, and one has to be compassion. We has to preach Krishna consciousness, and then friendly. He has to be friendly, and he has to be very much equal to all. So in that sense, you can please the Lord. So when it says like to become a representative of God is very high stage. It's not an ordinary thing like that. But somehow we come to Krishna consciousness. We practice Krishna consciousness. We have our own struggles. We are struggling with our body. We are struggling with the mind. We are struggling externally, internally. So that's one way to please Krishna. That Lord is pleased by this thing,
Yes.
being tolerant, being compassionate, being merciful, being kind, friendly. So just can you elaborate on this something like this topic? Thank you so much for it.
Yes. So there are two kinds of view devotee has about omens. There are some devotee who they don't believe at all into any omens. They think anywhere Krishna is there, everything is auspicious. So that is perfectly all right. If we has full conviction that Lord is protecting, like one time it is said that one of the temple we had land where the land should not be south facing generally. That's what people say. But they put a big nursing a picture and they said wherever nursing, what is the omens? What it does? It brings negative energy. But wherever Lord Narsinga is there, there is no way the bad energy can come in. So like that way, they don't believe at all and they protect. But second level of Vaishnava, they say that we are not pure, we are struggling sadhakas. So we have to be in this world. So in order to do something, we can avoid as much as possible. So they try to consider while doing any activity that any bad omens doesn't come. If comes, then they take some precautions like that. They do. But wherever there is chanting of the holy name goes on, there is no omens or anything like that. So all the omens have overcome. So women's wise, Prabhupada book, if I read right, I studied, I don't see much mentioned too much about women's, and the emphasis is not that, because as per scripture, there are two types of scripture. One is called Bhagavad Vidhi, another is called Pancharatrika Vidhi. So all these things comes in Pancharatrika Vidhi, where the women's and all the things are mentioned. But where as far as Bhagavad Vidhi is concerned, we are beyond the rules and everything. So we being in the society, we stick to some of the rules, basic needful, but we don't pay too much attention, because if let us say someone is going on the street and the cat crosses his, that is considered one of the bad omen. But if he's going for preaching program, that doesn't mean he should stop his service, or he's coming for DT service and if the cat crosses him or any other bad omens happens, it's not the thing which we need to stop our service to the Lord. In serving Lord and Lord's duty, there is no omens or anything like that. We should just pray to Lord, and Lord takes care of things. Like I will tell you one time, uh, before the war of Kurukshetra, uh, Kauravas started preparing for one of the sacrifice for the like battle victory, and they got all the ingredients, everything, and they booked all the areas on that particular muhurta. So now they are surely going to win the battle, because they prepared everything, and they made sure that Pandavas doesn't do. Kaurava made sure that only Kauravas will be able to perform that sacrifice for the victory of the battle. And that time, all Pandavas went to Krishna. Krishna, now we don't have any hope. What can we do? Krishna said, "Start now all the preparation of the sacrifice." And Pandavas, they know Lord says means that's it, and they start preparing the sacrifice, everything. And when they started preparing everything, Chandra and sun god and moon god both got confused. This muhurta is so and so day, but Lord is doing this preparation now. Then both come through there and they pray to obey Lord, obeisance to Lord, and they ask, "Oh Lord, you why are you doing this sacrifice? The muhurta is so and so day." Lord said, "What is muhurta? The muhurta is sun and moon coming together. You are together now. Let's do it now." So Lord can change also. When Lord want to do something, right? Lord is not bound by any of the material calculation or omens and all this. Bhagavad Gita is beyond everything. The devotional process is beyond everything. It is not bound by, it can change. Sudama was destined to be in poverty entire life, but Lord could change his entire poverty into all the righteous. So it is just like any criminal has particular year of prison treatment, but the president can come and reduce it for completely nullify it also. He has full control over it. Like that way, Lord has control over all the things of the world. And especially when Lord's devotees are engaged in His service, Lord makes sure that all the exemptions are given and all the approvals are there for all His service. So we can see in our life also a lot of times Lord will facilitate our service, and we think we cannot do it, but it's quickly done. All the things come in place. We are able to do little service to Lord because Lord definitely helps us in our work. Whatever work we do, it get expeded. All the obstacle automatically goes away. All the omens, bad omens automatically goes away. It is said the first and basic and beginning process of bhakti is shubhada. As per Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, it's the beginning of all auspiciousness. So, if bhakti or devotional service to the Lord means beginning of all auspiciousness, then all the omens and all nothing is nearby also. Just like it is said, as soon as the sun's one first ray comes, automatically all the darkness goes away. Similarly, as soon as one start practicing the Krishna consciousness, automatically all the negative or any bad thing goes away. Yeah, and those who keep practicing, even they have some shortcoming or something, still they will be able to overcome it by Lord's strength, by the Lord's mercy, and with association, one can overcome anything in the world. Like in Bhagavatam, Prabhupada writes, I think in fourth canto, Priyavata section, Priyavarta, that by the blessing of Vaishnava, everything is possible in the world. And we are fortunate, we have so many Vaishnavas around us. So, with that, we can do anything. No means or anything will impact us, provided we don't commit any offense to any of the Vaishnava. And totally perfect. Thank you for a wonderful point, bro. Right. Is that okay, bro? Any more? Yes, we are. एकाकी हमारा नहीं पाया वाला तुम्हारे शक्ति আছে. So it's like with the Vaishnavas.
Uh, you had made the point that Lord Krishna cooperates with the people. So that was borne out by the fact that they were making that connection between Akura's father having brought rain at one point when there was no rain, and now if there were inauspicious omens, that meant the presence of Akura would end the inauspicious omens. Um, so there's, I mean, you could say that in one sense, those inauspicious omens had to do with the mentality of some of the people there, because after all, they were accusing Lord Krishna of, well, earlier on, as you pointed out, the killing of Satrajit. And then there was another stain on his reputation that followed on that one. What was it? There was one more thing that people was, that he had actually sent Akura away. So, in some sense, the cooperation has to do with uh, still acting on a different platform, because after all, he hadn't sent Akura away, and Akura had performed a wrong. And the inauspicious omens were due to the fact that the people were having this not good mentality towards Lord Krishna. So it's interesting, that point of being cooperative, but at the same time, I mean, it would appear like cooperation, but actually Krishna is like on another level. It's, I'm just commenting,
Yeah, yeah.
thinking, processing what you.
The Krishna is very intelligent. He navigates things very nicely. In the, all the relationship you can see with all his wives, even all his friends, everywhere he is very expert. He knows where to perfect diplomat. I can say in terms of all the dealings, and he does one thing and he pleases everybody. So thank you, Mataji. Wonderful point. Yes, Mataji. Any point? Anything? Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you so much for your class time you invested. Uh, one point that I had this question, and I think other devotees may also have pointed out. See, when Akrura had the Shamantaka jewel and he went outside Dwarka, there was rumors in Dwarka. The citizens were saying that Krishna has sent Akrura to in exile, and Krishna wanted to clear his reputation. So that's why Krishna causes these omens to come, these evil signs to come in Dwarka, so that the citizens will ask Krishna to ask Akrura to come back, and so that his reputation is cleared. But why would Krishna care about such things?
Actually, Akrura is a great devotee of Lord Krishna. Krishna want her Akrura to be back, and with a respect, not like just like that in the victim of as a person who stole the Shamantaka. No, he wanted to bring him with respect. Akrura is one of the great devotee of the Lord. So Lord sometimes he himself uh, like put his position into awkward situation, but he makes sure that his devotees are respected, his devotees honored. We can see in Mahabharata fight for protecting Bhishma's vow, he broke his own vow. For protecting Arjuna, he break all the rules. He does what all not for protecting his devotees. That's how Lord says that my devotees are more dear to me than my own thing. So mm, that's how we have to take shelter of Lord's devotees. So we'll be definitely protected. That's why first we surrender to Guru, and then our spiritual progress starts. That's the reason. So this is Lord's perfect plan of architecture where Lord wanted Akrura to come back to the city, so that this thing will be more giving honor to Akrura, and people will feel Akrura how respectable personality Akrura is. So that's was the main plan behind. That's what I could think. But we can discuss sometime more on this. Definitely good point. Wonderful. Yeah. Thank you so much. Shil Prabhupada ki jai. Shriman Bhagavatam ki jai.